ahora sí estamos grabando, así se ve mucho mejor.
Ok,
Bienvenido,
excelente.
Douglas, también.
Entonces, exacto, gracias. Entonces, bueno, bienvenidos bienvenido Douglas, gracias por unírsenos. Para contarles un poco, tenemos en total más o menos 97 personas eh, participando en el proyecto. Están divididas en distintos niveles de acuerdo a los niveles que la plataforma nos ofrece y los niveles de dominio según el marco común europeo. El grupo de Starter está pequeñito, tenemos a 3 personas ahí, a 3 participantes allí. Tenemos a un grupo pre-A1 con, perdón, en Starter tenemos 6 personas, a pre-A1 tenemos, no, Starter son 13, pre-A1 son 16, A1 son 16 también. A1 Plus son 17 personas, A2 son 4 personas, A2 Plus son 10 personas, B1 son 4 personas y luego los otros grupos ya son un poquito más pequeños. Tenemos 2, 3 personas en los niveles B1 Plus y B2 y el nivel B2 Plus y C1 que los unificamos son 3 personas también. Entonces, como ven, pues la distribución está un poco más hacia los niveles iniciales como era de esperarse. Y pues esto también va de acuerdo a los objetivos del programa, porque como recordarán, el programa está pensado para ayudar a personas que no tienen un nivel tan avanzado en el dominio del idioma y quieren avanzar y quieren mejorar su nivel para tener mejores oportunidades de empleabilidad. Esto va muy en línea con los objetivos del proyecto a nivel de responsabilidad social. Entonces estamos muy contentos de ya tener esos resultados. Estos grupos los vamos a estar, bueno, cada coach va a tener algún grupo, por lo menos un grupo asignado de acuerdo a los horarios que ustedes nos han brindado y entonces pues semanalmente se va a estar reuniendo con estos grupos de estudiantes para, para tener estas sesiones de coaching. Les queremos contar también que hemos preparado una serie o un cierto protocolo, digamos, de una secuencia que vamos a compartir con ustedes para que puedan llevar a cabo la sesión de coach. La sesión de coaching no es, digamos, solamente conectarse y ver qué pasa, sino que tenemos un protocolo con el cual esperamos ayudarlos a tener una secuencia de actividades, tener una secuencia dentro de la lección que vaya desde un saludo y una actividad inicial y un hook, un learning hook, y luego pues varios momentos de interacción con los estudiantes para finalizar con un momento de seguimiento y acompañamiento y la parte de coaching en cuanto a el avance de los chicos en plataforma. Recordemos que los chicos van a tener, o los participantes van a tener, el chicos es mala maña, está trabajando con colegios durante mucho tiempo, pero los participantes, además de las sesiones con ustedes, tienen una plataforma de estudio autónomo, una plataforma de aprendizaje que están utilizando y que tienen que utilizar semanalmente hasta alcanzar una meta semanal de uso y con base en esa meta semanal de uso, pues ellos van a ir avanzando en su proceso hasta certificarse en el nivel en el que están trabajando. Entonces, parte de las actividades de esta sesión de coaching va a ser guardar un momento, guardar un cierto tiempo para que ustedes puedan ingresar a el sistema de seguimiento que la plataforma ofrece y poder entrar, revisar los resultados de los estudiantes durante esta semana. Y bueno, ya ahí viene la parte de coaching, ¿verdad? A ver, Carlitos, ¿por qué no te has conectado esta semana? ¿Qué te pasó? Jacqueline, fantástico. Lo estás haciendo muy bien, vas de acuerdo a la meta, excelente, ¿verdad? Solamente estos pequeños comentarios de verdad le ayudan mucho a los estudiantes a seguir adelante. Recordemos que estamos ayudándolos a crear un hábito de estudio, un hábito de aprendizaje y ese hábito ayuda mucho el tener una figura externa que me dé retroalimentación sobre qué tanto estoy logrando ese hábito. Así que una parte importante de ese protocolo, una parte importante de ese proceso de seguimiento y acompañamiento para los estudiantes va a ser justamente pues darles esa retroalimentación, ese feedback de cómo les está yendo en su uso de la plataforma. ¿Tenemos alguna pregunta hasta el momento?
No.
No de mi parte.
¿No? Ok,
Todo claro,
fantástico.
gracias.
Ok, genial, genial, genial. Entonces, este es un protocolo que les vamos a compartir por medio de Google Drive. Hemos creado para ustedes una cuenta de Google desde nuestro dominio eduacademy.ac. Sharon, a ellos ya les llegó esta información del correo electrónico de
Sí, debió
Eduacademy.
haberles llegado hoy mismo.
Ok, perfecto. Entonces hoy probablemente la mayoría de ustedes recibió esta información. Si no la han recibido, por favor avísenos, ¿verdad? Mediante el chat o me pueden escribir directamente o a Sharon o a cualquiera de los que estamos ahí de parte de Edutech para que les apoyemos a revisar esa información. Fantástico, Lorena. Excelente. Muchas gracias. Esa cuenta les va a dar acceso al G Suite educativo que tenemos como empresa y eso pues les va a dar acceso a una cuenta de Google Meet que les permite tener reuniones más largas de las que con más asistentes de las que normalmente se puede con una cuenta gratuita. Les va a permitir también acceder a Google Classroom, que es lo que vamos a ver en un momento. Y bueno, otra serie de recursos que pueden ser de utilidad, bueno, van a ser de utilidad para el proyecto y pueden ser de utilidad para otras cositas, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, si en algún momento tienen una reunión virtual con un grupo de la universidad o del trabajo y necesitan un poco más de tiempo del que G Suite normalmente ofrece, o necesitan grabar la sesión, pues pueden hacerlo en su cuenta de Edu Academy. Esta cuenta va a estar activa durante la duración del proyecto y pues bueno, es una cuenta full, ¿verdad? Les voy a mostrar ahora el espacio de Google Classroom en el cual, que hemos creado y en el que ustedes van a encontrar información importante, ¿verdad? Este es un espacio, digamos, para ustedes como coaches, en el cual pues vamos a ir cargando información. Ahorita tenemos un pequeño video, Melania cargó un poco de información acá. Y pues, por ejemplo, vamos a encontrar también, este es el espacio para Marco Común Europeo nivel A1. ¿Ok? Y aquí pueden ustedes, los estudiantes también van a tener ese tipo de cuentas y van a tener acceso a estos espacios, entonces ellos también van a poder revisar cualquier información que ustedes les pongan por ahí. Entonces va a ser un bonito canal de comunicación. Tenemos resources para ustedes, también para que puedan compartir con los estudiantes. Tenemos los 5 study steps de NEO. Tenemos los puntos de cada nivel de certificación de NEO para que ustedes se vayan familiarizando. Ya en un momento vamos a hablar a mayor profundidad de NEO como herramienta de aprendizaje y cómo funciona, qué es lo que los estudiantes hacen y cómo avanzan y cómo llegan a esa certificación. Y bueno, los puntos de Mastery Test también para NEO. También tenemos los programas de cada nivel, los programas completos de cada nivel en formato PDF. Este es un programa también que para los estudiantes puede ser de mucha utilidad. El propósito del programa, las competencias a desarrollar, las horas de trabajo independiente. Esto es todo el nivel A1, que se compone por el módulo pre-A1, A1 y A1 Plus. Y cada módulo, pues bueno, tiene ciertos resultados de aprendizaje, las unidades en las que se desarrolla y toda esta información está completa. Para contarles un poquito más acerca de este documento en particular, nosotros estamos en el proceso de alinear, bueno, la alineación ya la tenemos y estamos validando todo eso por medio del INA. Entonces, esto pues si alguno de ustedes ha trabajado con INA y encuentra como algunas similitudes entre el formato de ellos y lo que van a encontrar acá, es precisamente porque estamos en ese proceso de validación y de alineación de acuerdo a el programa del Instituto Nacional o a los requisitos del programa, perdón, del Instituto Nacional de Aprendizaje. ¿Ok? Esta sería la parte de Google Classroom. El protocolo para compartirles un poco de ese protocolo de coaching va por distintos momentos. Por ejemplo, tenemos un momento en el cual vamos a hacer como un warm-up, como un welcome to the session, ¿ok? Que es cuando los Les vamos a dar la bienvenida a los estudiantes, les vamos a presentar las reglas de la clase, un momento para compartir información personal, un momento para compartir un learning hook, que puede ser un video, una canción, una parte pequeña de un podcast, algo que les llame la atención y que les enganche, ¿verdad? Para mantener la atención durante esa sesión de estudio. Tenemos también las reglas de la clase. Estas son reglas que los participantes pues, ya conocen porque son parte de su acuerdo, del acuerdo que ellos firmaron para participar del proyecto. Y bueno, las reglas son súper sencillas. Speak English, be punctual and responsible, turn on your camera when being asked. Uh, Ideally, we want them to turn their camera or to keep their camera on during all the session. We strongly recommend that you keep your camera on during the session because, again, it's difficult or sometimes it's challenging to connect really connect with students over over a video call. And if the cameras are not on, then it's even more difficult to connect with them, to really meaningfully connect with them. Okay, so yeah, we're going to continue in English because this session is supposed to be in English, and I forgot at the beginning. So we're going to move forward in English. And okay, so next we have the learning goals for that particular session. Okay, here we can ask them to identify the grammar structures and new vocabulary that they can use to formulate oral expressions. And
Víctor,
again, a big, yep, sí.
disculpe, seguimos viendo
Oh,
el
perdón,
nuevo
perdón, perdón,
programa.
perdón, perdón. Sí, 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 sí. Ok, ya veo qué pasó. Ok, entonces, just a second. Thank you. Vamos a presentar toda la pantalla. Ok. Listo, ahí debería de estar. Entonces,
Sí,
tenemos el welcome session o el welcome to the session, ¿ok? Luego tenemos los session rules, ¿verdad? Lo que decíamos hace un momento, de keep your camera on, use appropriate language, have a positive attitude, follow instructions, todas estas cositas, all these things that we need students to do in order to have a successful learning experience with you. Okay, then we have the learning goals for the session, right? That the main objective for this session is to get your students to speak. These sessions are not designed for you, or the purpose of these sessions is not for you to present them a grammar structure or present them a vocabulary set or present them something that is, a little complex or might be difficult for students to follow. We're not aiming for that with this. What we're aiming for is something that will get students speaking. Okay, the main objective for all of this is to get your students speaking and give them the opportunity to apply what they have learned um, in their moments or in the moments that they have studied using the platform. Okay, finally, after this is the largest chunk of your session. We hope that students will participate as much as possible, and hopefully this part of your session, this part of the learning goals, this part of using the grammar structures and new vocabulary that they have learned in the platform to put it to use with your students, with the students along with your guidance. This is where we hope the largest chunk of the time of the session time will will take up. And then finally, we have one part of the session where they will check on their progress, where students will check on their progress, and they will reflect on what they have learned in the software. Okay, so that's what we're hoping for, that they will be able to reflect on what have been the keys to the progress that they have made. Maybe just finding a regular schedule to study, asking them questions or bringing them questions like what could you do to improve, what tips could you share with your classmates on how to move forward, on how to get the best results of the platform. and what is their perception of any progress, of their progress in learning English. All of these questions are important. It's a little bit of metacognition, um, to just reflect on what their learning process has been so far. Go ahead, Lorena.
Good evening, Victor. I have a quick question, and it's regard to this session, this like learning session that we are. It is possible that you share with us the recording of the session through the WhatsApp group.
Sharing the recording of the session through the WhatsApp group, I think that would be a good strategy. I think it would be a good strategy. Uh, in my experience, to be very honest with you, in my experience, most people rarely watch the recordings, and it, it, it could be useful for the students who are or who joined the session and want to just review something. Maybe that would be fantastic. Also, students are required to attend to the sessions. Sessions are part of the mandatory elements of the program. So it wouldn't be so much for students to catch up with a session that they may have missed. They also have the opportunity to if there's another group available. For example, if I'm a student and I
No,
really,
Victor. I'm
yeah,
sorry. No, the session that we are gonna have with the students. I mean, the actual session that we are having today.
this one. Oh, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. We'll
Oh,
be
thank
sharing with
you.
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, we'll be sharing with you. I misunderstood your question. Yeah, we'll be sharing with you this recording, of course, of course. We'll be happy to do that. Okay. So all of these are the lesson steps that we're going to follow that we hope will lead to a productive session from your students for them to have plenty of opportunities to discuss their or to share and use what they have learned in the platform, and for you to give them some feedback and share with them some opportunities to speak. As we said, the main objective of this session is to give students the opportunity to interact with each other using the grammar structures and new vocabulary and linguistic elements that they have learned and they have acquired, um, and give them feedback on their progress of the platform. Okay? That's the main objective of each one of these sessions that you're going to be having with them each week. If the students participate, if at the end of the session, each student got the chance to participate a few times and use their new skills a few times to communicate something meaningful for them, and they received some feedback on their progress of the platform, that is a successful lesson for that student, for each one of those students, we hope. Okay? Go ahead, Milagro. Milagro?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
we
Go ahead.
have
Don't worry.
to we have to share with you of the other teachers when some people don't come to the coaching sessions.
We will be monitoring it. We will be monitoring it. But if you notice, for example, the student didn't show up to your session, and you can share it with us, we greatly appreciate it. Okay. The more eyes and the more the more eyes we have on them, and the more uh, control, I would say, the more control, the more information that we get on their performance and their attendance, the better. So yeah,
Right.
we would greatly appreciate that info.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so right now we're going to take a quick look at Neo. Neo is the software that the students are using to learn on their own. This is their independent learning software, and the platform is called Neo Study. It's this document that I'm going to show with you, that I'm going to share with you right now, is something that we shared with the students. They are already using the platform. So in a sense, they know the platform a little bit better than you do right now. Okay. And well, we're going to get familiar with the platform itself. I'm going to also enter the platform so we can take a look at that from within. Pre-A1 demo, there we go. So this is where your students are working every week. This is where the largest chunk of their time is going, and this is what they're dedicating most of the time. So whatever they see here, hopefully they will be practicing in the coaching sessions with you. Okay, so I'm going to sign in. And then when students come into the system, the only thing that they have to do is click on Study Now. That's it. They don't have to find anything. They don't have to look for homework or anything. That's all they have to do. You don't need to assign or do anything about it. The platform works on its own and it allows students to progress at their own pace. So we have a weekly progress goal, but students can go beyond that goal. That is like the minimum that we ask from them. But if they want to go beyond that minimum, that is fantastic. They can go ahead and do that with no problem. The idea is that after around 10 or 11 weeks of study, they will have finished and they will have taken their little rocket from here to up here. Okay, and that's how they will get their certification. The students get a certification that just validates the level and the learning that they have done in the system, and they can access their certification here on My Certificates. For example, this account has a pre-A1 certificate already, and they can always access these certifications. Okay, so this is the system, or this is the interface for the student. As you can see, it has a button to start studying. It has a total number of points that students have received, their goal level in the Common European Framework, and this means that they can access My Lessons, which is a set of lessons that they may have saved from their normal study flow or their normal study activities to come back to them. Okay, this is like the lessons that, like a playlist, a personalized playlist that the students create to return to when they need to. Okay. So each Neo lesson has a set of different steps. Okay, and this is what we call the study steps for Neo. Okay, the first, it has 5 study steps that range from preview to review, and the reasoning behind this is that students are going to gradually become more and more familiar with the new language. They're going to have opportunities to listen to a native speaker use a new language. They're going to practice saying the phrases and words that they hear, and they will eventually encounter a speech recognition software that will give them feedback on their work and give them feedback on their pronunciation and intonation, and it will tell them if they need to practice a little bit more or if they are correctly pronouncing and they are correctly producing the language that they have learned. Okay. The first step is the preview step. This is where they get familiar and they see, it's kind of like a general view of everything that they're going to learn in the platform during the sessions. Now, these 5 steps are not consecutive. I'm not going to interact with the same content 5 times, one after the other, but I'm going to it's going to alternate between different lessons. So I may do a little bit of vocabulary, then after doing a little bit of vocabulary, I may do a little bit of listening, then a little bit of grammar, then a little bit of speaking. It goes like that, and it alternates little by little. Okay, so every time the students finish a lesson step, they get some points, and every time they get points, they get closer to their certification goal. Okay, now we're going to take a look at one lesson, for example. Okay, I'm going to click here on study now. This is a lesson on large numbers. And as you can see, it has this lesson. In this lesson, I will use my microphone. So in this case, students need to make sure that they are in an environment where they can actually and successfully use the microphone. If they're in a very noisy environment, or if they're in an environment that will not allow the microphone to properly recognize what they are saying, then what we recommend is that they find a more controlled environment where the microphone can more effectively, it can work more effectively. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly show you a little bit of what this lesson does. This is a review lesson. So this is something that students have already seen several times. This is something that they have done several times. They have gotten used to and become familiar with the language, and now they're just reviewing it. In lesson step number 4, it is they have to speak. They don't get a chance to skip, speaking. But in the review lesson, they can choose whether or not they want to use the speaking function. So by now they have already become completely familiar with the language, and they're just reviewing it. Okay, because this is lesson step number 5. So here we're not going to get a little bit, or we're not going to get a lot of introductory activities. We're just going to get some review activities where students are going to get a chance to see if they have already learned. I'm going to switch my method of sharing so you can listen to the audio. And it might change a little bit the display. Let me see if I can.
¿Está compartiendo toda la pantalla o solo la A?
No, ahorita estoy compartiendo solamente la pestaña de Neo. Por eso es que se cambia el.
Ah, es que no sé si estaba tratando como de que se
Ajá.
escucha.
No, sí, es que se cambia cuando cambio el tipo de share.
Sí, yo.
Okay, so one second. There we go. Okay, so we're
1,000,
okay, down here I can
1,000.
listen to it again. And one of the great things about it is that the platform is never going to get tired. Okay, the platform is infinitely patient. So if the student needs to listen to that phrase 5, 6, 7, 8 times, they can do it, right? It's not like when you're in class and a student asks you, teacher, can you repeat that, right? And you repeat it, and maybe they didn't get it, but they might be a little bit too they might be a little ashamed or self-conscious about asking it again, even if they need it, because they don't want the rest of the classroom to know that maybe they're not getting it. So in the platform, they can listen to it as many times as they need to, and then they can also use the record function to check with a speech recognition software how their pronunciation is doing.
1,000.
1,000.
Yes, that's right. 10,000.
10,000.
Yes, that's right. 100,000.
Potato.
Please try again.
100,000.
100,000.
Nice effort. Please try again.
So it gives me a little bit of feedback. And for example, if the text is red, it tells me we're not getting it, right? If it's black, it means that it's okay, it's acceptable. And if it's green, it means you're doing really great. Okay, so this is just a little snippet of what the platform does and how the platform works. We're not going to do the full exercise because we don't necessarily need to see everything from this perspective, but this is what your students are going to be doing in the system when they enter and when they are practicing. Okay. Do we have any questions? Anything you would like to know about the platform or what students are going to be doing? Yes, Lorena, go ahead.
It is possible if some of the students have issue with some exercise on the platform, did they save it to look at with us on the learning sessions?
Um, well, if the students are having a hard time with an element of the platform, it especially here, it's usually due to pronunciation. It's usually due to pronunciation on their side. We have a support number. We have a support channel that students can reach out to, and that's always available for them. And they can put their questions there. Most of the time, when it's related to these exercises, it's because the student's pronunciation is not there yet, and they are not aware that their pronunciation is not there yet. So they think, oh, I'm doing great, but the software, it tells them, you need to practice a little bit more, and they don't like that, and they think it's a mistake on the software. So if they're having an issue with the system, the best thing to do for them to solve it as soon as possible is for them to reach out to our support channel. Um, I wouldn't advise the students to wait until the session because if they're having a problem and they don't move forward, they're going to fall behind on their goal. So what we recommend is getting them to solve the issue, whatever it may be, as soon as possible. And for that, the quickest or the most efficient way of doing that is reaching out to our support channel, and they will be happy to help them or inform them. Hey, this isn't a technical issue. You just need to practice your pronunciation a little bit more, and that will allow them to move forward as as quickly as possible, right? We don't want them to stay too long on one particular exercise because they're gonna fall behind on their goals, and those goals are important for their permanence in the program. If they don't reach the goals, their certification goal, they will not be able to stay on the program. And we want as many of them, everyone, we want everyone to finish the program and gain the levels that we know that they can gain through Neo. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend having the students wait until the session because remember that they meet with you once a week, right? So if they're having an issue, the best thing to do, just go straight to support, and they will help them figure out what it is that is happening, and help them keep moving on and moving towards their certification goal.
Okay, perfect. Got it.
My pleasure. Okay. All right. So this is a little bit of how the system works. Um, uh, Again, they have this document. They have been using the system for some time. And so far, we haven't found a lot of issues or a lot of difficulties on their side. They're actually moving forward quite successfully. So we're very happy with that. But it's also a good idea for you to know what they're doing because, of course, you will be monitoring and coaching them on their progress there. Okay? Yes, Milagro.
We have access to this.
To this document, the one, oh, sorry, to the platform itself, to the users or to a student user, you can if you want to. What you will have access to, what all of you will have access to, is the monitoring system, which is called the Neo Universal Dashboard. There, you will be able to see the progress that your students have been making, and if they're falling behind, it will let you know, so that maybe you can pull on their ears a little bit and just make sure that you remind them that they have a goal and they have to meet a certain amount of points every week to remain in the program. Yeah. So you don't have access to the student software because it's not that it doesn't give you that much information as a coach, but you do have access to the universal dashboard that will allow you to just follow up on everything that the students are doing and keep track of their progress. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank
Yep.
you.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Neo Universal Dashboard, which is one second. Okay, which is this. All right. The page is a little bit different. And this is where you'll find information on your students. Let me just find the right place. There we go. Okay, so every level has a class, and then in every class you will be able to see the students' levels. Okay, so for example, this is the A1 to A1 plus level. It has 33 students. And if I get into this little icon here, I will be able to see their work. For example, here I can see 10 students, but if I click here, I will get a menu that will allow me to choose more, right? So I can see all of my students all at the same time, like this. And for example, here I can see that Alejandro Avila, all right, he is in A1 plus level. He has accumulated, or he has obtained 7,439 points, and he's been studying in the program for 5 weeks. So far, he has completed 70% of the level that he's working on, and he's been studying for 17 hours and 29 minutes. Okay, so this is an example of a student who's doing very well. Okay, this is a student who is moving forward very, very well. He is completing his level very, very quickly. We have, for example, Arvin, who is finished, who is 78% finished. He's gotten 8,856 points, so he's doing really well. And this would be a great example of a student that in the coaching session you can just tell them, hey, you're doing great, like what are you doing, what's your secret, right? And just getting them to share what strategies they have used to help them be successful in the use of the platform. Okay, for example, we have some other students that are not doing so great. Alejandro Navas, on the other hand, he is in the A1 level, but he's only completed 3% of it, and he studied for 39 minutes. So this is a student, or this is an example of a student where we might want to just reach out and see what's happening. Like Alejandro, I'm a little concerned. Are you having a hard time? Is there something from the platform that is challenging for you? Or maybe there's going to be a lot of different cases and a lot of different scenarios. Okay, for example, we might encounter a student who maybe they don't have a device at the time, or maybe it got stolen, or maybe they are not having access to internet at the time. All of the students, when they started, they signed an agreement, and they told us that they had the necessary the necessary conditions to use the platform. But this, of course, conditions sometimes change, right? Sometimes, something happens at home, and maybe, they didn't, they weren't working when they started the program, but they got a job and now they're having a hard time just balancing their job and their studies in English. Maybe someone got sick at home, and now they're having to take care of them. There's a lot of different situations that can happen and that can influence what students are doing. But something that is important is just that when they log into your session, that you tell them, hey, you're doing okay, you're doing a good job, or maybe you need to you know step on the gas a little bit more, because otherwise you might not be able to continue in the program. Go ahead, Milagro.
How many weeks they have to complete the program?
They have in total they have 11 weeks. We want them to finish their certification before the 10th week. Um, uh, that's what we're aiming for. The week number 11 and even week number 12, because we're just doing this every 3 months. Week number 11 and week number 12 are just sort of like the remedial weeks for students who, for one reason or another, they weren't able to finish the course on time. But this is for students, the week 11 extra time. This is going to be for students who have 80% or 85% or even 90% of the course finished. But if you get to week number 10 and you're 40% into the course, in 1 week, you're not going to be able to do everything that you didn't do in 10 weeks. Also, um, uh, this pace is important because we have learned and we know that for the platform to work effectively, students need to use it on a constant basis rather than just trying to finish everything all at once, just to get to the goal, right? This is like going to the gym, right? If you want to run a marathon, you need to train frequently, right? You can't just try to train 1 week before the marathon and then do a good job in it, right? It's not going to work that way. You're not going to get the results that you want if you do it that way. But if you do a little bit every day, then the learning will happen effectively, because you're constantly exposing your brain to the practice and to the language, right? So they have their goal. The goal is for them to finish in around 10 weeks, but they have one additional week. This is something we don't tell the students. This is just for you. We can give them one extra week, but they need to earn that extra week, so to speak, by completing around 80 or no less than 80% of the course, content. Does that solve your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions or anything else that you would like to know about the program? Again, just feel free to raise your hand or let me know. All good. Okay, fantastic. So, the next part, or the next thing that we're going to see, is we're going to see that we're going to share some documents and presentations with you, because again, we know that you're busy people, and we know that you're helping us out a lot by doing these coaching sessions with the students. But we know that you're not necessarily going to have time to prepare, for example, material for your students. So we will be sharing with you some documents, okay, and some presentations. This is, for example, a presentation for A2 level, okay, which tells them, a little bit of everything that they're going to be doing, the class rules, the objectives for today, right, with the same protocol that we discussed. Uh, the mastery tests, or when do they see the mastery tests in the platform, a little refreshment of some important notes from working with Neo, and then the hook and some practice, right? There's a little word wall resource there. One thing to do, a little bit of speaking, right? So there's a lot of information here, and there's a lot of things that you can find to get your students to communicate, right? Again, all of this is designed to help you get your students speaking as much as possible during the session. Okay, go ahead, Lorena.
Victor, I don't know if you already changed the screen, but we continue seeing the student list.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's a good reminder. That's a good reminder so it doesn't happen to you. When you're sharing screens in Google Meet, you have to switch the screen that you're sharing so that they can see the audio and everything. They can hear the audio and everything. So this is one example of one of the presentations that we're going to be sharing with you so that you can use it in your class in your coaching session with your students. Okay? So, for example, here, one thing that you do in the morning, two things you do before sleeping, three things that you do in the garden. These are just prompts to get your students speaking and communicating with each other. The best coaching sessions are the ones where the coach, just gives the idea, and then the students are speaking and speaking and speaking, and the coach doesn't speak that much. Okay, you should aim to get your students speaking more than you do in the class. Okay, so this is something that we can share with you. We recommend that you review them before your class so that you are fully aware of everything that you have to get your students speaking. We're going to just add a lot of these resources so that you can take advantage of them and make the best of your coaching sessions with as little time investment on your side as possible. Okay, so we're just trying to support you as much as we can with as many materials as possible for you to get your students speaking without just trying too hard or investing a lot of time into it. Okay. Um, Now we have a short recording session or a short recorded session where we can see just a quick example of how it is when students communicate in the classroom. We're going to take a look at that right now. I hear someone raise their hand, so go ahead.
Yes, it's Milagro.
Go ahead,
Where
Milagro.
where are you going to share us these presentations?
These presentations are in the Google Classroom space. So remember, you can access this Google Classroom space through the email address that we created for you in our domain, eduacademy.ac. And all of that is loaded into the Google Classroom space. Go ahead, Lorena.
Those resources on the Google Classroom are available from today, right?
Yes, we will be loading some more resources as we move forward in the process. But right now, there are several resources already loaded and ready.
And the email is the same email that we use to do the placement test?
No, this is an email that we created for you, and you should have gotten the invitation for the email to activate the email in today. So check your inboxes, and if you can't find it, just let us know, and we will be happy to help.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to see a little sample of a coaching session. This is from Karen, who is another one of our academic support team, another member of our academic support team, who was not able to be with us today because she's actually teaching right now using Neo. And you can just take a look at how the lesson flows and how the activities just go one after the other, okay? We're gonna take a quick look at this. And yeah, let me change this.
About some pet peeves. We're going to talk about food, things to eat, things to drink. So you're going to talk about your preferences. We will discuss some eating habits. So we're going to test ourselves to see if we really are eating good food for our body or not. And just to finish, we're going to discuss some different eating habits that other cultures have. But before that, I want to know, Eva, how was your week? What did you do this week? Anything
Well,
interesting?
my week was very good.
Okay.
I do some things like read, spend time with
Okay,
me,
that's good.
and some things like this.
Okay, very good. How about the other classes, Eva? Have you been doing homework, kind of a stress or relaxed?
Yes, I get a little stressed with some classes, but
Okay,
it's all fine. Yes. I'm
okay, that's good. That's good.
the
Excellent.
best.
That's good, Eva. That's great. How about you, Gloriana? How was your week?
It was pretty busy.
Busy?
Um,
Okay.
yes, but I
Okay.
also enjoyed a lot because it was very busy, but with social activities. So it was very
Oh,
nice.
that's nice. That's nice. So
Yes,
you have a lot of friends, Gloriana?
yes, but I also went out with my family. My
Great.
father is, yes, his birthday is this Monday, and
Oh, that's good.
yes, he's almost 65 years old. So we are very excited,
Oh,
and we started celebrating like 2 weeks ago. So
for
it's been
sure.
a very busy social week.
Great. It's a blessing to have your father. Okay, so it's good.
Yes.
It's good. How about you, Francisco? How was your week? Good, bad, or stressed?
Normal week at work, nothing major. So yeah,
Okay,
all
nothing
everything's
special.
normal.
Okay,
Exactly.
and you, Alejandro? How was it?
It is still busy. I am actually working,
Okay.
and
No.
hopefully I can go home early today.
Okay, and are you gonna rest this coming weekend, or you have plans?
No,
Alejandro,
I'm
you
going.
have plans?
I'm going.
No, no plans?
No, I'm going to rest. I will stay at home and just, I don't know, watch
Okay.
Netflix or something. I don't want to do something, spend my energy.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good to rest too, okay? Remember, after a stressing week, we need to relax too. It's good to go out with family. It's good to take time for yourselves too. And I'm very happy that you're okay, guys. Just remember that when we have classes, we already set the rules, and the rules say that whenever you speak, you should turn on your camera, at least when you speak, okay? If you don't have a good internet connection, well, you can turn it off, but it's recommendable to turn it on, okay? So after having set the objectives, we're going to talk about pet peeves. But you might be thinking, what is a pet peeve? Well, I have here in the small words, a pet peeve is something that someone does that you don't like, that is annoying. So since we're going to talk about eating habits, I'm going to tell you one. I have a friend that after eating, he always takes the food out with his finger and then he sucks his finger. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. I hate it. It's disgusting. Eva, do you have a friend who has a really annoying habit that you get disgusted?
Well, maybe when someone finished to eat and
Mm-hmm.
they just like
Okay, they suck or they lick their
put
fingers. That's
yeah, I,
disgusting. Okay, yes. Francisco, you have a friend like this?
No, I think
Not really.
no,
Or you
not really.
do something, maybe, Francisco, it's a habit that is not so good, but you do it and somebody gets annoyed by it?
Yeah, probably so. I won't disclose it here, but yes, probably so.
Okay, how about you, Gloriana? Have you seen people eating with their mouth open and spitting while eating? I thank you for your camera, Gloriana.
Yes. I have one. It's not exactly like that, but I have a friend that she always answers her phone while we are at the table. And I think it's really
Oh,
annoying and probably
it is.
a little disrespectful. I mean, we are
It
eating and we
is.
are having a conversation, but she doesn't get up. She just continues talking like at the table, and I think it's pretty annoying.
It is. It is. Melania, what do you think? If you had a friend like Gloriana's, would you tell that friend something? Would you tell, hey, we're eating, please don't do it? Would you do that?
I would do a game, like a challenge. So
Mhm.
I would put, I don't know, like a bowl in the center of the table, and we can put all our cell phones in there, and you can, if you don't touch it, then you can win a dessert or something. So they can.
Oh,
It's
that's nice.
But you know what I hate? What I really, really hate, I don't like it at all. And I am always
Uh-huh.
complaining with the family when they do it, is using, just when they finished, taking the toothpicks and put it in the
Mhm.
mouth, like the teeth. I
Oh,
hate that. I hate it. Maybe you go to the bathroom
disgusting.
and you quickly, I don't like that. So that's something that
It is.
annoys me a lot. Yeah.
It is. So, guys,
Okay, so that's a little snippet of a coaching session, of an example of a coaching session. As you see, there were clear lesson objectives that the teacher, in this case Karen, shared with the participants. She motivated them, and she encouraged them to participate. She encouraged everyone to participate, and she made sure that everyone was participating. And that's one of the big goals, especially with students who are at a lower level. They may not be able to produce as much as these participants were doing, but it's getting them to speak as much as possible and participate as much as possible. She also emphasized the classroom rules, which are always important. If you have bad connection, you can turn off your camera, but when you participate, you should turn it on, right? And all of these little details that just make up a good coaching session that we hope that you were able to just gather from the conversation that we had today. I don't know if you have any questions regarding what the coaching session looks like, or what it may require from your end.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. And of course, we will be having, a few more sessions, shorter sessions, of course, where we will be reaching out to you and just finding out how you're doing, if you need any additional support on our end, and if you need maybe more materials, or maybe you need help with one particular group or one particular student, we'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Okay? Yes, go ahead, Milagro.
How long does a session last? A coaching session?
The coaching sessions are expected to last 1 hour. 1 hour. Through the different moments that we discussed, just the greeting, remembering the rules, the learning hook, just a little early discussion. Then, the actual topic that we will be providing you with the topics and the audiovisual materials for you to develop that particular session. And then finally, the last 20 or 15 minutes of the session dedicated to the feedback moment, where you go over the study records of your students and just let them know how it is that they're doing. Okay, all of that, give or take 1 hour. It could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more, but it should always be within the ballpark of the 60 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. So I will be sharing with you the record, or we will be sharing with you this recording and the recording of the previous session, where you can see a little bit more of this. And we will also be sharing with you very, very soon your schedules, the schedules and the groups that we will be so grateful for your help with. I know, Dana, I have something pending with you in terms of that schedule. I'm just checking out and finding the information, but I will be reaching out to you very, very soon about that too. Okay?
Okay.
All right, fantastic. So, do you have any other questions? Anything else you would like to go over, or something that maybe I covered, but you would like to hear more about or revisit? Anything like that? Go ahead, Luciana.
Hi. Well, my question is not actually a question. I was just wondering if there are more like available schedules because I'm gonna have more time in case you need me.
Okay.
Just
Fantastic, fantastic. That's
Mhm.
very good to know. That's very good to know. I think so far, I think we are covered, but we are having another. We're working on having another group of students. We're working on because we've had a lot of demand, so we may open more spaces for students. So if that happens, we will be sure to keep you in mind. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Fantastic. So, in that case, I thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you for the time you've dedicated to this. And if you have any questions or any other concerns or anything you would like to share with us, please feel free to reach out, whether it is by the general chat or by our individual contacts. Let us know, and we will be helping you in any way we can. Yes, Dana, go ahead.
I would like to confirm something. I want to know if the whole session must be in English, even if the students are in a very, let's say, basic level, like A1 or something similar to that. Because, well, I'm not sure how much English they will be able to understand or to what level will be okay to maybe switch to Spanish to explain something, and if I feel that they are not understanding.
Yeah. Um, the goal is to speak as much English as possible. If you can do it throughout the entire session, that's fantastic. But if at some point you feel that your students are getting completely lost, they have no idea what's happening, then it's acceptable to switch into Spanish. Remember that the you can adjust the level of the activity by adjusting the tasks, right? So maybe if your first task is just, hi, my name is Dana. I am from Costa Rica and I am a teacher, for example. Just something like that. That's something that everyone at this point should be able to do, right? My number is 555 123 321. Okay, just little things like that. That students at this point they are already capable of doing. They may not feel comfortable doing it right off the bat, but that's also one of the good things, right? That we are aiming to take them out of their comfort zone. Because if we let them stay in their comfort zone, they will never speak. Okay, I can guarantee to you that if we let them in their comfort zone, they will never get to speaking. But if we push them a little bit, they will be able to. They will surprise you with the amount of things that they're able to do or say in English once you push them a little bit and you give them enough scaffolding. Yes, Lorena, go ahead.
Following the question that Dana made, it will be possible maybe the first time that we meet with the students, tell them the rules or the general instruction in Spanish, then repeat it in English, of course, because the session has to be in English. And maybe the instruction of the other classes, give it in both language till the moment that they feel comfortable with the English only.
Yeah, you can ease them into English if you feel more comfortable that way. Um, my recommendation would be, just try to use as much English as possible right off the bat, just to get them. Yeah, it also just gets people's attention, right? If you start speaking in English, they start trying to make sense of what it is that you're saying. But again, um, the main objective or the underlying objective of all of this is for them to come back to these sessions and be motivated by the sessions rather than intimidated by the sessions. If you feel that, you know, your students are getting a little bit intimidated and they might not feel very, you know, at ease in the session as well, maybe that's something that you can tell them on the first session. I will use as much English as possible, and I will challenge you because that is the objective of this session. Then, you know, that might be easier for them to digest if they know that you're doing it on purpose, and if they know that you're deliberately putting them in a situation where they have to use what they have learned either to understand what it is that you're saying or to communicate with their classmates. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So, okay, in that case, thank you very much. This has been a very productive session. I'm very grateful to all of you for your attendance. And we're in advance very, very grateful for all your support and your collaboration. We definitely wouldn't be able to be doing any of this without all of you. So thank you very much on behalf of the participants and on behalf of the entire EduTech team. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, and we will be reaching out to you very soon to let you know what your group is and what schedule you will be meeting with them. Okay? Yes, Luciana, go ahead.
Voy a tener la grabación.
Gracias.